I could jump on their cap, actually. Shit. I've got a choice here. I gotta make it. If they weren't moving, I'd go after him. Fuck. You know what? We're going in. They'll turn away. This is going to be extremely painful. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh my god. They just lost 3 battleships. Everybody, welcome back. It's business. It's time for a ship overview, and it's been a long ass time since we've had one of these, and it's the Paolo Emilio, available only through the Research Bureau. Yay. A stupid idea, but I mean, honestly, I'd rather it be Research Bureau than gold or coal or whatever else, but that's me. So this ship is ridiculous, and you're gonna see all these values because I already have a 21 point captain, which I'll go over things. I mean, there's really not that much to go over. It's not as complex as, you know, something like, you know, a super cruiser or, you know, new battleship or something like that. This is pretty straightforward because it's a 60 knot vehicle for delivering torpedoes. It's a delivery service, let's put it that way. And you know, I don't really think the stats on this really matter all that much. I mean, some of the important stuff here, like when you're facing a Paolo Emilio with your Paolo Emilio, man, does it suck to hit that belt armor right there, that orange strip, because your HE nor your SAP can pen it. So you have to aim for the fore or aft sections if you're using SAP, and just basically anywhere other than that armor section if you're using HE. So the guns are honestly shit. You got a huge reload on it. I've got the worst possible reload on it. I think it's at 11.1 or 11.2 seconds as I have it set up now, and the main caveat to the ship is, I mean, well, there's 3 of them: detection, turning radius, and then the guns. Aside from those, you know, this is an insane ship, and it's just a lot of fun to play, simply because you throw caution to the wind. You are looking to impact the match not by winning in an elaborate fashion, but simply killing something. That's like, this is the most basic type of mentality behind the ship, is just to dev strike something, make it look like a fucking gender reveal party out there. And it just, I find it so hilarious and so funny to play at times, because even when your back is up against the wall and you haven't done anything for 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes, there's still that threat that you might, and people play very carefully and differently around this ship. So whatever, who cares about all this stuff? This is the core setup. Sansonetti is completely optional, really not required at all. He's a total waste on the ship, so you do not need to set up your captain. Well, you don't need to put Sansonetti in this at all. So let's get to it, because there's a lot of stuff to show you, and the wild adventures of Turbo Emilio need to begin now, because I want to laugh more. And it's just, oh man, you know, this is like, this first clip is honestly a classic setup where you're allowing the, well, in this case me, you have to allow the enemy players to put themselves in positions where they are susceptible to your attacks. So that Hipper getting knocked out, which I called out, and obviously he had kind of put himself in the position to get focused and be first blood, that opens up opportunity here against the Lenin. And this is the sort of critical thing that matters, and honestly it will determine whether or not you actually do anything with the ship at all. It's your teammates, unfortunately. So if your teammates are not able or willing to eliminate, say, you know, some critical threat like a radar ship, or obviously a ship that has like long range hydro, or whatever the case may be, it's you're pretty much screwed. You're not really gonna have the impact that you are capable of. And so got a little bit of a surprise here with the destroyer. I did not expect this here at all. For the most part, I have switched over to doing widespread. This is one of the earlier games that I had. Well, maybe not earlier, but
a few moments later.
It's it's kind of specific to the situation, but I feel a lot more comfortable using the widespread on this against destroyers specifically up close. And I'm making a mistake here because I was more concerned, or more expecting the Des Moines to turn out, which is why I put that behind. If I was expecting him at all, in any way, shape, or form, to turn in, then I would have done these torps differently, but it's, you know, whatever, it's how it is. So I'm also making another mistake here by taking way too long to dump these torps into the water and keeping my ship very, very straight. So that leads to this absolutely ridiculous situation where I can't turn in and tap the Des Moines to get the ramp. But we do get the Fletcher. I don't know how, I don't know why. It is what it is. So speaking of Fletchers, I'm going to spoil this surprise and say there's an enemy Fletcher here in the smoke. If you take a look at the side panel, which is Battle Best version 2, because I know somebody's going to ask about it, he is running the 9.2 kilometer stock torps. These are the Benson and Mahan 9.2 kilometer 55 knot torps. I mean, the best they can do is like barely 60 knots with various upgrades. Slow ass torps like that, I had nearly no time to react, and those torps have, I think it's a 1.3 kilometer detection, so they are pretty well concealed, which is one of their better strengths. But the simple fact that I wasn't able to, there was just no way I was going to be able to react in time to avoid those torpedoes. Now just try to imagine 70, 75 knot torps, or you know, even worse, the Pan European torps, you know, going 80, 90 knots, and how little time you have to react to it. You are absolutely going to die horribly to torps, and you're going to do it early if you're trying to be, you know, aggressive early on at all. But you still need teammates to help you out to push away those DDs, because while you definitely want to focus on DDs, because that is by far the biggest impact you can have in the game, it's so tough because it's all situation dependent. So I don't want to say like, oh yeah, you know, you do this and that's that. No, it's everything is fluid. Everything's a situation that you may not ever find yourself in again. So I was actually spotted by this Massachusetts just before he went behind this island here, and I don't know why he elected to shoot at the North Carolina instead of holding a shot for me. But he's dead struck, so who gives a shit, right? So, and to follow suit, there goes his Colorado. His backup is just gone too. So, oh man. And in case you're wondering, a bunch of these clips are actually from Twitch, which is why they are muted, because not because of music. I mostly listen to synthwave, and those artists are pretty cool about allowing their music to be played or whatever. They grant permission, or classical music. But the audio, as far as like my input, it's a little hard to talk over. Yeah, that was not expected though. So I really don't know what the hell is going on in the minds of some of these players. And not to say that I haven't screwed up, but I mean, Jesus Christ, of course I have. One of the easiest ways to do it is this turning radius, which you can clearly see is a huge issue, and the torpedo arcs. So if you're, I think more or less if you're launching like a torpedo set that's, I think it's towards the back half, I'm almost certain it switches over to the rear inline mount. And that can really screw you up when you think you launch one set from the fixed launcher on the like say your port side, and you're expecting to be able to launch two sets on your starboard side, but you really only have one. That has screwed me over a couple times. So it does default initially to your wing mount, but I'm almost certain it switches over to the rear when you're more than halfway. So anyhow, the other problem, of course, is the turning radius, which, as much as I love going into Thunderdome with this ship, it is a problem because this is a tight area, and yeah, there's more than enough room for the ship to be able to maneuver and turn around. However, there is not nearly as much room to maneuver and turn around when you're trying to dodge shells and torps or ram attempts, so that becomes a lot more problematic. Let's just say that much. So you got to try to give yourself some room here, anywhere there's islands and stuff. And yeah, you'll see what I mean too when we have a reversing part of this video here in a moment. So managed to get the anchorage and then drop the torps on the Colorado, just nuke the shit out of him. And yeah, this is just why, you got to be careful in Thunderdome, and I'm desperately trying to avoid beaching here. So this is just one of those things where it's like, it took a while for me to really show up for the match, but when I did, it was pretty impactful. Unfortunately not the case here, because this is basically a wash. They are in full control of this game, and it's time to... We're going in. YOLO in, boys. Alright, this is a one-way ticket to Pound Town. Huh? We didn't get the... Aww. Same time I did. Alright, so there's the Akazuki. And again, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll just sit right off the cap and I won't do anything. I'll just wait. I'll let things develop and just... I'm gonna go after him. Just hope that something happens here, with my teammates, without me actually being directly involved in influencing things, as far as damage is concerned. So I get... What the fuck spotted me? Yeah, I get spotted there, and I'm sure you all can guess what did that. But anyways, you know, it's critical to kind of allow things to develop. I know it's the YOLO Emilio, but really,
Open up with a widespread.
really what it's about, and this is a waste here, but what it's really about is just more or less letting people get themselves killed. I mean,
Shit.
it's a weird way of kind of describing it, but honestly, I mean, that's what it seems like. And I'll let this action do the talking here, because this is fucked up.
Yeah, so this is awkward. Oh, there you are.
So I'm dead here anyways, right? And that's damage saturation.
Oh, man.
So
Can
clearly
you still get that?
the Akazuki
the
spotted
fuck?
me, and I should have put 2 and 2 together.
Oh my god, look at how effective that was. Holy shit.
I should have put 2 and 2 together as far as, well, clearly the Akazuki had spotted me, and he was out of his smoke, so I didn't need to waste that first torp set on throwing it into the smoke. But yeah, that turned out honestly better than I expected given this scenario, because it really went sideways pretty much right at the start when I decided to push in against the smoke. So the fact that I came out of that with anything was actually kind of amazing. So Friesland, by the way, Friesland fucks this ship up. Since we're on that subject, actually, the hardest ships to play against are, thankfully, they're not as common anymore, but the Royal Navy destroyers are such a bitch. They're such a bitch to play against with this. And yeah, you got fast torps, but you don't have a lot of range. You don't have the maneuverability, the acceleration. I mean, since they have basically a speed
3
boost
hours later.
or propulsion mod baked in, they are a lot more difficult to engage up close because they can throttle jockey like that guy should have done. I don't know why the hell he took a dev strike there. There was no reason for that at all because those torps were spotted. He did not maneuver in any way, so whatever. Not my problem. He's dead. So the Royal Navy DDs though are honestly a pain in the ass to play against, and some of the higher DPM ships like something like the Marceau or the Cab or whatever, they are awful to play against no matter what ship you're in. However, they do turn very, very poorly, and that is your best bet with this ship, is going after the ships that just don't maneuver very well, because like I prioritize maneuverability, mobility over pretty much anything else, and a lot of, I would say the majority of players probably don't do that, and thus they don't run double rudder, they don't run, propulsion and steering gears mod 2 or whatever, or actually I would say that's more common than double rudder, but things like that, they do end up making a pretty big difference. And yeah, he set me on fire too, along with that flood, and I had to let them all burn out, so that was really embarrassing. And the revenge tour, we got him. So but really, like, the biggest asset you have, aside from teammates actually doing anything to help, is speed, because it just opens up so much possibilities here. I was initially gonna go off to the right and see if I could help out, but I didn't really want to deal with the fucking Alaska. And aside from that, this dude's singling himself out, and he's a real credit to the team by staying in the back, not using his armor, his health, or really having a chance to hit anything, because his shells take that much longer to reach the intended target. So in my line of thinking, going after this Minnesota is not just for my team and myself, but for the enemy team too, because it sucks ass to have players all the way in the back like this. And you know what? Maybe that's my goal in life, is to create businesses battleship removal service and remind players that yes, you are still in the game, and you can die horribly at a moment's notice. Shit, yeah. Man, that felt good. And I wasn't done. Imagine chasing down a cruiser when you've got this low health. But again, it's amazing just how quickly this can move and just how fast situations can develop or unfortunately disappear as well, because that, speed is a double-edged sword. So going after, I think, what is this, a Zara? It's a Zara. He knows I'm here. And it doesn't matter. Just holy shit, dude. Like, honestly, what you can get away with this ship sometimes is amazing. And yes, I did survive that. But really, if it's not that sort of thing,
Later.
it's this, where you're just sitting around and hanging out for a while.
2,000 years later.
And you, like, I can't stress this enough. The biggest asset you have is just letting things develop. And yes, that's a Missouri. He already popped his radar. There is a low yang over here as well, which is what I was hydroed by. And I want you really to pay attention to this whole scenario, because this is fucking hilarious. So we're trying to catch up to the obvious low yang that's here, but we proxy detect the Missouri. But look at the situation with the low yang. He can't turn. So we get the Missouri, which I think is funny because he was blasting his horn as well. And then a Felix Schultz shows up. Alright, well, this isn't ideal by any stretch of the imagination. And for some reason, the low yang comes to a stop. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know what the fuck that was about. So, we get those torps. And look at this. Aw, yeah, some drift in action. Now this is a bit awkward, because I don't have torps, he doesn't have torps. He dramatically outguns me, and he's got a shitload more health. So, I'm pretty well screwed here. Well, that's just what I wanted him to think. So I'll let you enjoy this. Hell yeah, we got a huge lead and pretty much all the caps and everything. Yeah, we still lost. We still lost. Yeah. So, on that note, this ship is fucking ridiculous, man. You just throw caution to the wind, forget your stats, just get in this ship, try to death strike something. You will be amazed at the scenarios that come up that you would never experience with any other ship. And it is an immense amount of fun, and of course it can still be frustrating simply because you're so close to greatness so many times and it just doesn't happen. So thank you for watching today. Just remember to be mindful if there's a Paolo Emilio around, because it might just be the last thing you see.